Hey fellas, welcome to Friendship Shaving for a George Butler and Company Limited Shakespeare shave today. They're keen razor and I'm very pleased with this. Picked it up for £18 and I have polished it up and it's in beautiful condition, with the acid etch in there, as you can see, with the Shakespeare quote, "Keen, as is this razor's edge invisible," from Shakespeare's Love's Labour Lost. Very nice. Perhaps you can see that the stabiliser comes down here and the blade extends quite a bit beyond that, so there's a good amount of use left in this blade for a vintage blade. I'm very pleased with this indeed. So we'll talk about that more as we go along. Today I've got my chubby sovereign fibre brush from Simpson's, made for Charles III's coronation. There is their information and a stamp there. And I've got my soap already lathered up, and I've gone today with some Arco for men, and this is their Comfort Shave Cream. Wasn't sure how much to use, so it's been ages since I've used this. So I put about a broad bean size in my bowl, and I seem to have a reasonable amount of lather. Of course, with shaving cream it takes a lot less water than a shaving soap, but I think I've done all right. And of course, one of the advantages, blimey, one of the advantages of using a cream is that you can always add a drop to your bowl. I just knocked off my Lone Star razor, and thankfully it hit my plastic bowl and plopped in the water that's in my sink, so there won't be any damage to that. Didn't expect that. Now let's get going with this shave, because I've quite a lot to talk about today. So the shaving soap smells just like a fresh, slightly floury soap. That's as much as I can say. The Sovereign Fibre is Simpson's cheaper version, the budget version if you like. It's very nice. I find this a little bit stiff with the backbone it has in it, so I prefer to use this one just in a painting fashion, and I find it's a very nice brush to use, just like this, just with the tips. Beautiful, in fact. Very nice quality, and I'm finding that with a few of my brushes lately that have a bit more backbone. I don't like splaying them so much. I just prefer to use them like this, just to moisten my bristles and get the soap onto my skin, and it works very, very well indeed. Beautiful brush. Look at the colours there. Lovely. Now, should we have a little history, boys? It's always nice to be able to provide a little history about the razors, and we're quite blessed that the good people of Sheffield have collated such good records of all their Cutlers history. So Butler's, the firm, goes back to William Butler, and he was granted the Butler trademark as far back as 1768. Now William was a pen and pocket knife cutler. So it seems, and I'll illustrate that as we go along, that within the work that they do, there are certain specialisms. William had 3 sons, William Jr., who went on to become a scissor manufacturer, and then James and George, and it was those 2 that continued their father's business. And this bit I found quite shocking, because in 1840, and that's only 72 years from that 1768 date that the business really had the Butler trademark. By that time, the father, the sons and the grandsons had all died out apart from one, and George Butler had a son called George Jr. I can't find any information to say that he was still, or that he was involved in the business. But the business was sold and the name was kept as George Butler Company Limited from that date on. So there we are, guys, from 1840 onwards, and it's got a little art trademark there. Apparently there were so many forgeries going around that in an effort to combat that art trademark was granted to the company in 1861. So there we are, a little bit of history. There are some quite famous names associated with this company if you're into straight razors. Crooks, Brooks and Rowe. So those are names that I've heard of and seen on straight razors, and there may be different generations, as it seemed quite common back then to, if you had a child that was male, to give him your name, but junior and senior. It seems that they did that a lot, going back. These razors were the Keen razors. Were apparently very well thought of back in the day, and I've got a little quote from a newspaper of the time that says they are a distinctly special article. So there we are, that is what I am shaving with today, a distinctly special article. And I wanted to ask you guys, because there are a lot of these produced and I've seen them in different sizes. This one is a number 1. It says on the back, number 1/58. But I've also seen a number 2 size. Presumably there's a number 3, although I haven't seen one of those. And I've seen a number 4. Just online. But I wonder which one is the largest razor. I wonder if the number 1, 2, 3, 4 was an indicator of the size of the razor, the width of the blade perhaps. Maybe you have some information on that that you might like to share with me, because I'd be quite interested. When I honed this, I left my jeweller's loop, my eyepiece, I left it in the outhouse. And it was cold and wet and I wasn't going back out there. So I honed the razor without the benefit of being able to get a close-up look at the edge of the blade or the bevel. And I was especially pleased to find out that I got a really, really nice edge on this. So perhaps I'm coming along. Perhaps I'm getting there when it comes to honing. I find it incredible that these old razors, I know I've said this before, I mean just look at that, and the age of it, well I'm guessing from the scales, with a sort of very nice clear chamfer there around the edge. I'm guessing about 1930 for this one, but even so, that's got quite some age on it, hasn't it? You know. And I find it remarkable that you can pick them up in very, very good condition. I've got the box with this, but I'm not going to pick it up with wet hands, guys. The box was not in bad condition either, so I feel that I've done quite well. For £18, very pleased. And I have been having a clear out lately of some of my razors. I've been putting some up on eBay. And I'll tell you a little story about one of them. You know, you can't keep them all, can you? So it's come time to have a little clear out, and so I put one up for sale, very nice one with some etching on the blade. And of course eBay recommends, doesn't it, put it up with a low start price for the auction, because more people will take part. Well, I thought, right, okay, put it up at 99p, as I did all my stuff. And in the end, it sold for £15, just a touch under. And I was a little disappointed with that. It was a beautifully clean razor, much the look of this one. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. It had a nice edge on it. So, £15, there we go. Well, it was very welcome, and the money went into the coffers. But the buyer the name and address that I sent you to, I recognised the name. And I thought, well, you know, I couldn't quite place it. I thought, where do I know that name from? Anyway, about a week later, I realised that a gentleman has a website selling straight razors. So I popped over and had a look, and there was my very razor that had already sold for £115. I was like this. I couldn't believe it. So there we are. Perhaps selling nice razors on eBay is not the best thing to do. So fair play to that gentleman. He is earning a living, and I hope he does that with all the razors that he buys, but I was somewhat shocked. So I've learned a thing or two during that process. About how much I can expect a razor to truly sell for, because I wasn't sure. You know, I didn't know how much it was worth. Of course, the gentleman that bought the razor been doing this a long time, you know, much more enlightened than I am. And well, there we go. Now I know, eh? But I thought, if I'm able to buy a little razor like this one for about £18, and it's in quite nice condition, and I can use it on the channel and sell it for a bit more than I bought it for, then we're golden, aren't we? We get new razors to try out on the channel. It gives me something to do in cleaning them up and making them a bit nicer and putting a nice edge upon them. And then I sell them on, and there's money in the kitty for more razors. So maybe that's a plan. Now guys, I've got a very thin lather this second pass, really thin. We'll just see if I can dab a little bit more on here. And I want to go there again because I want to go that way up my face. Never quite sure how much of a product to use when you change from a soap to a cream. It's quite pleasant, this cream. It's not overwhelming or anything like that. I think I could do with the lather being a little bit thicker next time. I'm providing a little bit more of that comfort that is mentioned on the outside of the tube. But it's not bad. Very, very cheap product. in terms of price. I just went round the corner a little bit on that stroke. Got to be careful when you do that, guys. You've got to be really careful. There we are, 2-pass shave, done and dusted. It certainly is a keen edge on this razor. It's a great quote, isn't it, for a razor, obviously. Am I correct in thinking that the quote originally, as part of Shakespeare's play, refers to a woman's tongue? Perhaps someone in the play had a tongue lashing, so to speak. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. I just have that idea in my head from school, probably, which or college when I did Shakespeare, a little bit of it. But there we are. There's I'll show you the other side of it. Very clean indeed. Jimps on the top and the bottom. Just a lovely, lovely razor. Super pleased with that one, guys. How much is that one worth then? Now we'll have a rinse off. And a drop of cold. There we go. Not a bad shave today, but that one a damn fine shave, I would say. Sometimes with a straight, I'm lucky and I get a BBS without trying. I've just slightly missed a bit there, going that direction. That's the only bit really, but I always have a very good shave these days. So because that soap smelled very slightly floral to me, a little bit like a nice sort of, like an old-fashioned hand soap. Here's a box, by the way. There we are, that's the box. It's in pretty good condition, isn't it? And it's even got the old advertising still intact on the back and the information about the company and the razor. Anyway, I was saying today I'm going to use Sir Irish Moss. This is a little bit floral when it evens out, but it doesn't last very long, so it'll go very nicely with the soap. When you first put it on, oh, it smells fantastic. There we are, guys. That is my shave. So you take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. All the best now. I'll see you next time around. Bye bye.